From Tally to Cali,
it's time
to wake up.
Wake up! Wake up! Warchant.com is your ultimate Seminole sports source.
And this is Wake Up Warchant, fueled by DeLuna Coffee.
Coffee's for closers only.
Now here's Warchant.com's Aslan Hajavandi
and Corey Clark.
Welcome on into the program. We are live here on YouTube. This is also your Thursday podcast, which is coincidentally this guy's birthday. I'm Aslan Hajavandi, joined by Corey.
Oh, I didn't know that.
Yeah, man. Hang around
the big 3-0. The big 3-0, finally hitting it. Nice.
Yeah, man. So that's Corey Clark. I'm Aslan Hajavandi. Thanks for being here for this live edition of Wake Up Warchant, which continues and remains to be fueled by DeLuna Coffee. Shout out to our guy Clay. Also goes by the alias Titus Nole. He's been drinking plenty of DeLuna. He's been tweeting at us. I've been giving everybody else a shout out, but I've just been waiting for the right time to unleash that. Look at that, man. He's got the voodoo. Look at that voodoo. Wish I could make
Clay,
it bigger.
That's big time, buddy.
Yeah, man.
Look at that. Yeah.
So we appreciate it. Thanks for drinking the DeLuna. Use the promo code WARCHANT15. That gets you a 15% discount over at DeLunaCoffee.com. Go explore their world of coffee. Warchant.com, promo code bottom of your screen. But hit that like button, everybody, on YouTube. I will continue to hammer it home. Just tap the little thumbs up button, indicating you like it. This will get more folks into the bus. We're driving, we're climbing, more bodies. We can get to the top a lot quicker that way. Also, leave a 5-star rating and review if you're listening to this on the podcast version. Enough of me rambling. Corey Clark, how are you, man?
I'm good, buddy. I'm good. I made it here just in time. A long drive back after practice today, but I made it, man. I made it.
Again, I really don't know how you do it. I think when I went to the 5-star challenge in Atlanta with Lanks and I drove back down and then we recorded a podcast that day and I was like, this is a little bit taxing and tiring. I really don't want to do this. And I'm like, wait, Corey does this every single week when football season rolls around. And
I got a ticket. My first ticket in 3.5 years.
Oh.
Yeah, that was a bummer. It was a nice streak, probably the longest streak of my life coming to an end there. Going
what
41. It was in Norman Park, Georgia. I don't know what county that is. It was going 41 and a 25. Normally it's a 35, but it was a school zone. I'm not used to driving in Norman Park at that time of the day. And I even told the cop when he pulled me over, I'm like, man, I saw you on the side of the road. And I'm like, I looked down how fast I was going. I was like, all right, Clark, he can't pull you over. You're going 40 and a 35, and it was 41 and a 25. So not great.
Well, like you said, it was a good streak.
Either way, happy birthday to you, everybody. Hit the like button just for Aslan's birthday. Also, subscribe. That would be a great birthday present for him.
Yes.
That would be very, very nice.
Do it. All right. Gator Kirk saying hit the thumbs up button. That was earlier in the evening, and he's ready to rock. Let's take a phone call before we dive into our observations and such from practice today. Let's go to Gator Kirk right now. He's out in Virginia Beach, Virginia. Gator Kirk, how are you, man?
Good evening, gentlemen. Let's go.
There you go.
Aslan's big day is tomorrow. Let's celebrate.
That's right.
Yep. Nice. Bring the thunder, Gator Kirk. Bring the thunder.
We're ready to go, Gator Kirk. Now what? Now what do we do?
Now we get it rolling. Now we kick the ball off and get going. So we're gonna we know. Here's my question. We know wearing the orange jersey is for somehow you didn't meet team expectations. But do we know how you shed the orange jersey? Do we know what level of whatever it is that you have to do to get out of it?
Atonement. Yeah, I don't know, Corey. Do we know? Yeah, I don't know what you got to do to get out of the mark of shame.
Did you ask? So Briggs was in the orange jersey today at practice. Dennis Briggs, who, by the way, looked incredible. Like, he looked like the best defensive lineman they had, at least for today, at practice. What did you ask Norvell about the orange jersey for him?
Yeah, because on the podcast yesterday, I was looking through my notebook, and I was like, Briggs, I thought had a good day on Tuesday. And then we go out Wednesday, and he's wearing the orange jersey. Yeah. And then Norvell says after practice that Briggs had a really good day. And I'm like, can you have a good day but still wear the mark of shame? How does that work out? And he said that, it's all about holding accountability, keeping the standard up. Even if you are playing well on the field, there's certain things you have to meet.
Yeah, but didn't he say something about his stomach?
Like, he was late to a practice. He was late to a meeting, rather. He was late to a meeting because I guess he had a stomach issue, but he still thinks that he should have planned accordingly to be there on time.
The way I heard it, I guess I wasn't hearing it clearly. I thought maybe Briggs puked in the hallway or something. And it's like, hey, man, at least puke in a trash can or puke in a toilet. Don't puke in the hallway. Orange jersey for you, buddy. That's how I took it. Like he was late because he was puking in the hallway or something. Somebody had to clean it up. But either way, yeah, it was a stomach issue that gave him the orange jersey. But man, he came out again on today on Wednesday, and yeah, like they could. He even said it afterwards. Briggs did. We'll see. I mean, it's the middle of August, folks. We get it. We'll see what he looks like against Notre Dame. But he said he felt unblockable, that nobody could block him. And it certainly was the case on Wednesday. They struggled a lot with Dennis Briggs Jr.
Yeah. Jermaine Johnson said a lot of good things about Briggs too. Says he doesn't know why we're not talking about him more, us in the media.
Yeah.
So here you go, Jermaine Johnson. We're talking about him right now. So we'll find out though, Gator Kirk. We'll see tomorrow. We'll be back at practice. We'll see if he's been able to shed the orange, which I think is something that Jimbo started, because obviously the orange is not a very likable color around these parts. Florida, Miami, Clemson. So you do something bad, you have to wear the orange jersey during practice. But he played quite well today. And that's 2 days in a row I think he's strung together. So hopefully that's a sign of things to come, because they clearly need depth and help on the defensive line. And he adds to it. He adds to it, Gator Kirk.
Absolutely.
All right, I appreciate you taking my call. Always support what Warchant support, the Luna Coffee. Make sure you hit that thumbs up button. Where 40% of the practices are down. So hopefully we'll keep on seeing improvement and have a good showing against Notre Dame. Have a great birthday tomorrow, Aslan. And as always, go Noles.
That's right. That's Gator Kirk, y'all. Joining us from Virginia Beach, Virginia. First caller in. Always, man. He grinds. That's how he does it. Thank you for the call, Gator Kirk. Let's turn our attention back to YouTube. We are, after all, live here on this fantastic slice of the internet. And in the wins here, just want to say, let's get this thing going with a little bit of a horn gang, which you wish. My command. Let's go. A little bit. Juice has been turned up a little bit more this week. It was a little too low in weeks past.
Nice.
In the win, thank you for being here. We certainly appreciate it. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much, man.
Rob Krause says, go Noles. Sean Hamlet days away, Corey.
Yeah, Travis J days away for the more modern fan that don't remember. Sean Hamlet was a heck of a player now back in the Dynasty, but yeah, 18. Is it 18? Is it 17 now? I mean, we are right there. We're getting really close. Are we Charlie Ward days away?
Don't ask me to do math.
Okay, sorry. We got to be close.
The 5th. We appreciate it again in the win. Thank you very much. I'm going to try to get it. The internet to tell me exactly how many days. 18 days. Yeah, we are 18 days. He knows.
Okay, man. Yeah, right. Sean Hamlet.
Thank you very much. In the wind. Ed's in the house. Ed says, Corey, I'm looking forward to seeing you and Jeff next Thursday. You guys are going to be in Pensacola at the Seville. He also wished me a happy birthday. Ed, thank you very much. I appreciate it. I will be enjoying some iced coffee out of this tumbler later on. That's how I'll celebrate my birthday. Corey, you excited to go to Pensacola? Bring the gospel of the Noles to the Panhandle?
Sure, man. Yeah, absolutely. And I'm excited to let Jeff drive. I'm not getting another ticket. He can go ahead and drive to and fro. We'll make sure he gets some DeLuna for the drive back, though, because it might be a late night.
Look at these people. Corey, these are the people that support us. God love them. God love them, Eric. Come on, Eric. Come on, Eric.
Nice.
Let's go. $90. Corey, here's some contribution towards your ticket. Happy birthday, Aslan. Go Noles. Eric, come on, Eric.
Thank you very much, Eric. And in the win, thank you very much, guys. You don't have to do that. That's very, very nice. Too kind, way too kind. That will definitely go toward my ticket. Who knows what that's going to be. He told me he gave me a break, that he gave me driving, something like driving.
Not bad. Yeah, they have to give you a speeding ticket, or they can say you weren't obeying a traffic sign. So maybe he did the you're not obeying a traffic sign thing.
Well, whatever he did, it said it wasn't going to be points. So that's what I was more concerned with, was the points. And he said it wouldn't be points. It was like dangerous driving and the conditions. So he didn't have me. I don't know if I should be saying any of this. They have the internet in Norman Park. I don't need to be blowing his spot. Everything I just said was wrong. I was making that up. I didn't even get a ticket today.
Strike it from the record. In the win comes back, gives me 10 more. Hey, come on, in the win, stop it, man. You're being too kind, man. We thank you very much. I appreciate it. It's awesome. This is great. We've done this last week, but taking a little bit of a break just makes you appreciate everybody that much more. Thank you so much, everybody.
Yeah, the gang's back together. So you want to dive in? You want to dive into practice a little bit?
Yeah, let's dive into practice. We got a caller waiting on the line, but they can hang around. They want to listen to you probably pontificate about practice. What was Wednesday's big takeaways for you then, Corey?
Well, look, the elephant in the room is the quarterbacks. And whatever you want to say, for the ones that don't know, Norvell talked about how the two younger guys, Chuba and Tate, have been getting most of the reps the last 2 days at quarterback. And, he said that's very good for them. The Milton and Travis got 85% of the snaps in the scrimmage. We know we don't get to watch that, but we know Milton played in the scrimmage. We know Jordan played in the scrimmage. And then, the fact that it doesn't hurt the future of the program for those two guys to get so many reps like they have. I think of that what you will. Whatever he said, that's fine. But I thought it was really to be honest with you, Chuba's looked darn good, man. Tate's not bad either. But Chuba, you watch Chuba, especially running with the ones, and you start to think, okay, I can see what this could be in 2022 or 2023, right, Aslan? Like, especially in the he made some throws in 7-on-7, I thought, that were really impressive. He took it, when he had, he has time because it's 7-on-7, he's not getting a pass rush. But plays downfield in between defenders, nice throws, and then in the goal line, he had 3 touchdown runs. They were all from the 3. But he had 3 touchdown runs, that's a real hard thing to when you go 4 wide with somebody like Chuba or Jordan or anybody that can move, it can be tough to keep them from getting in the end zone from 3 yards out, and that's exactly what he did. It looked good to me, man.
Yeah, the quarterback thing, though, people are going to keep asking us about it, but we're in an interesting predicament, I guess you could say. But Norvell again said that since McKenzie and Jordan took about 85%, I think he said, of the reps in the scrimmage. He wanted to, manage their workload, if you will, and let the younger guys get some more reps. So that's about all we know. That's about all we're able to report right now with the quarterbacks. If we do know more that we can confirm, we certainly will relay it to you folks. And everybody wants to know how this quarterback race is looking like. But I think we probably stick to our guns in terms of last time we saw them perform. It seems like Jordan continues to have a bit of an edge on McKenzie. But, hey, they got, 12 days of preseason camp left and then game week preparation to maybe make a move. But that's where we stand right now. So
yeah, I think the way I would put it is if you would have asked me Saturday who I thought was going to be the starting quarterback at Florida State in that game against Notre Dame, I would say Jordan Travis. And if you're asking me right now at 7:15 on August 18th, Sean Hamlet days away, yes, I would tell you Jordan Travis. So do with that what you will, folks.
I want to give a shout out to Tate. Tate had a bit of a dime. I don't know if I can find it here live on the fly.
Look at you, man! You're doing everything: producing, hosting,
trying. It was one of the. Well, it was coming at. I think it was coming at me. Here we go. Maybe this is it. But yeah, Tate's out there competing, man. Tate gives him a good arm in practice. He gives him some good looks. I mean, there's some of the mistakes he's making in the scrimmage that people are a little bit upset about. I think maybe this is it here. That was the nicest pass that we got in 11-on-11. There we go. Look at just easy. Look at that. Oh, why did it blink out on me? Pitch and catch of Jordan Young. Jordan Young's another guy who's kind of coming along, making some plays, flashing a little bit. That's kind of good to see, Corey, right?
Yeah, we'll see on him. No offense, Jordan, if you're watching. Good luck. I hope it happens. The guy that I wanted to talk about from that crew is Kentron Portier.
Yes, sir.
He has made, Norvell talked about him making plays downfield. He had 4 or 5 big plays in a row, like 4 days in a row. And then I'm telling you, man, the last 2 days that we've gotten to watch, he's made some really contested catches, really tough catches that weren't easy. Over the middle, ball behind him high. He snares it. He's going over the top of guys and making catches, competing for catches. That, to me, is a really good sign. I think he might be on the verge of taking a step. You know what I mean? Like, he's not going to be an 80-catch guy. He's not going to have 1,000 yards receiving. But he could be a guy you can depend on this year. It looks to me like something's clicked with him, at least the last week or so. Well, I guess you'd say this camp. But he looks like a guy – because he started out – remember, I know Norvell said it had nothing to do with depth charts or anything, but Kentron was one of the guys that were in the second session the first 3 days. He wasn't running with Pokey and Keyshawn and those guys in Parchment the last 2 days. Well, he's been really good, I think. Once they've gotten back to this team stuff where it's all of them together, he's proven he belongs, and he has a chance to be a difference maker, man. Maybe not this year, but you can see some stuff there. Him, Malik McClain, you kind of like maybe Darian Williamson had, a good first few days. You kind of like what they have as far as young receivers. I don't know if any of them are going to be superstars, but you got some dudes that I think are going to be, pretty big-time players in the next few years.
I hope so. I certainly hope so. So
big time players might be. I don't want to. Big time players at Florida State is Rashad Green, Peter Warwick. Big time contributors, guys that are solid, guys that could maybe get you 50 catches. I think there's a couple of guys that could be that guy kind of guy.
All right. Speaking of guys, how about this dude? It's Ed.
Guys, a very special occasion. The Godfather himself has been kind enough to grace us with his presence. The Godfather. This is his damn house. He lives here. He sleeps 20 feet away.
He's got a Warchant mug and coffee for Jeff and Tom when you guys go to Pensacola. He also gives a $50 gift. Ed, that's not how it works. Actually, I guess that's how it works. You sponsor us, you give us money, but you don't have to show up and give us $50. So appreciate it, Ed.
Yeah, it's very much appreciated. Don't listen to Aslan. It's very much appreciated. That's very nice. And give us all the coffee and mugs you want. I'll be like Santa bearing gifts when I come back to Tallahassee.
There you go. Get you some Blue Angels Fat Albert in the K-Cups, y'all. Thank you, Ed. Appreciate it, man. Hopefully this more people watching now as we get closer to the season, more people hopping on to DeLuna.
We should say too, right, Aslan, that I'll be in Pensacola on Thursday with Jeff Cameron, speaking to the booster club there. But then the Saturday before the Notre Dame game,
yes,
I think it's official. If not, it's close. The ink's drying right now. But we'll be at Corner Pocket Bar and Grill in Tallahassee for a Warchant / Jeff Cameron show, appreciation party. Show up, hang out with everybody from Warchant. I think it starts at 2.
Correct.
Because we want to do the festivities and then watch the Miami Alabama game, which is 3:30. So just if you're going to be in town, kind of pencil in that time and date and try to see us up there if you can.
Libations, I think is what Jeff has marketed over the years. The Libations celebration. So Saturday, Corner Pocket before the Notre Dame game. Come on out, say hi to all of us. We'll have some swag too to give away. I think koozies, maybe some mugs, some shirts, especially if you're a subscriber. Gene's got some extra things for the subscribers because he appreciates y'all. Speaking of appreciate y'all, how about James B? He's out in Pensacola. He'll probably want to hang out with you, Corey. He's a little bit of this. He's a little bit of OG. He's a little bit of Horn Gang. Let's go. Thank you, James. $75 in the jar. Wishing me happy birthday. Thank you. He says he too will be at the event in Pensacola, Corey. I have a cold ultra ready for you.
Have one or two, man. I'm making Chef Drive. Have one or two ready for me. I like the and thank you very much, James. That's very, very nice. It'll be nice to see you. And then I like the what do we call those? The icon thing that he has there. The
Avatar.
The avatar. Golly, I'm 100 years old.
Seriously.
I like the avatar, man. I'm wondering. Don't you think they'll do something like that on the field? They'll have to commemorate Bobby Bowden some way on the field. Yeah. I don't know what it will be.
Something. Yeah, but on the field for sure. I mean, it's his field. It's his name on the field. They got to put something on there for sure. I like that. The hat and the script. He always has such a sharp signature, man.
Yeah.
Sharp autograph.
You're right.
So everybody keeps asking about quarterback. I think Kenneth Chambers says it best. No head coach in their right mind decides to randomly give the 3rd and 4th string quarterbacks all the reps this far into camp. You might be onto something, Kenneth. You might be onto something. Let's take a phone call, Corey. But
I think we should reiterate that we have no reason to think that the 1st and 2nd string quarterbacks are done.
Absolutely correct. Yes,
that would be. Look, man, if they were done, if one of them was done, just hey, he's not gonna be. Norvell wouldn't string it out. You know what I mean? Like Kenneth.
Actually, I don't know.
I mean, granted, but yeah,
I agree. I agree that they're just because some things are happening doesn't mean the worst. The worst case is not happening right now, I would say.
Let's see how the week plays out. Pay attention in the when you're on warchant.com, and you need to go to warchant.com. Pay attention in our little write-ups because we don't want to get too specific because they don't want us to get too specific. And we are the only I think it's us and like Oregon State are the only media entities in the country that get to watch practice. So we don't want to take that for granted, and we don't want to burn any bridges. So we don't want to get too specific for every play. But if you see something like Malik McClain catches a 65-yard TD pass, and we don't say who it was from, you can read into that a little bit. If we say it was from Jordan Travis, well, then Jordan Travis is there completing passes, and everybody's happy. Cliff Notes version of how to read the updates in the days ahead.
There we go. Thank you, Corey. Wow, the queue just got full in a hurry there. But let's go to our guy in the villages. It's Wes, y'all. Wes. What's up, Wes?
Good evening, fellas. Happy birthday, Aslan.
Thank you, sir. Appreciate you very much. Thank you. Thank you.
Corey, watch those school zones. I think Georgia has a super speeder law. Hopefully they don't tag you with the super speeder.
Well, if my man told me, if he followed through on what he told me he was doing, I think I should be in the clear, except for having to pay the ticket. Who knows what they charge in that area of the world. But, I appreciate it, Wes. I've gotten way too many tickets in Georgia. I actually had a little bit of a run-in about a year and a half ago where I had to do some things in a courthouse to make that go away. Anyway, nobody wants to hear about that. Go ahead, Wes.
No, I just that super speeder, that you got to be careful for that. There's sticklers up there. So, but anyway, yeah. So, you guys obviously we're almost 2 weeks in of fall camp, and you've been out there at the practices. And this question is for both of you. Hopefully, you got different answers. But name one or two guys that you've been most surprised by, and give a reason what you've seen out of them specifically.
I defer to you, Corey. It's my birthday. I can pick out what I want to do. You go.
Well, look, man, it's not just because of what Norvell said. That had something to do with it. It made me look for him. But when he brought up DJ Lundy the other day, talking about the scrimmage, and that he really stood out and he was starting to separate himself, that caught me a little bit by surprise. And then out there today, DJ Lundy had a couple tackles for loss, had an interception on a deflected pass. Made a really good play on a wide receiver screen where he fought through the block and came and got pokey before he could get the first down. That's a guy, to me, I'll be honest with you, man. I thought just watching him last year, and that's not fair. He was a true freshman. I'm like, okay, I don't know that when Norvell gets this roster the way he wants it, this might not be a kid that contributes a whole lot. But he hasn't played a ton of football. He was a great wrestler in high school. And for whatever reason, it seems to have clicked. Now, I don't know how great he's going to be as a returning freshman, but that's a guy that's really surprised me. I kind of thought I'll be honest, he was kind of an afterthought with me. And now when you see the way he's playing and who he's playing with, you're like, okay, he's probably going to contribute a good bit this year. And I didn't know that would be the case. He's one. Aslan, you got another one?
I mean, I'll go with Briggs and Portier. I know we already talked about them, but Portier, this is several days in a row where he's not making the most amazing catches, but he's getting there. The ball's hitting his hands. He's holding on to it. He's holding on to it, making plays. So they need a big body. They need some diversity in position or playmakers at the wideout spot. He brings that. And then Briggs, I mean, I know it's only 2 days and it's prisoner of the moment, but again, he's coming on, and especially because we have high hopes, high expectations for Jermaine Johnson. He was high on our top 40. When he is out there, he is disrupting things. I had Briggs on my top 40 somewhere, but it was one of those you kind of wing in a prayer and you hope that it kind of comes together for him. But, 2 days this far into camp is a very encouraging sign. Again, I didn't have him as maybe a breakout kind of candidate, but he possibly could be that. So those are about two guys I would pick. Trayshawn Ward, maybe honorable mention, because, again, there's so many running backs on scholarship, and I know he's on there now as well, but I wasn't expecting him to factor into the plans, but he's kind of carved out a little bit of a niche for himself.
You get the sense watching practice that there is a place for Trayshawn Ward in this offense, right? Like I do think he is going to play. Just watching the way practice goes, the flow of practice, and who's in and who isn't. I think there's a chance he could play. I think they really do like him. I think he isn't just a feel-good story because he's a walk-on. He's a guy that I think they could count on to give him, 4 or 5 touches a game.
Yeah. So those are guys are standing out. What else you got for us, Wes?
Well, yeah. So the offensive line, have they do you guys feel like they've really kind of nailed down who their starting 5 is going to be? And I didn't know if Love Taylor's been back out there much or not. And the reason I asked that is that I know the defense, was kind of always ahead early on in camp, but I just get the sense I guess the question is, do you believe the defensive line has taken such a huge step this year with the transfers and the offensive line is better than it is? Or do you feel like the offensive line is tapered off a little? Kind of want to get your vibe on that.
It's hard to judge right now. I think they know who they want to be their starting 5. Have they been able to get all those guys out at the same time? I don't think so.
Right.
So that's what I would use to sort of table or put context in anything you're going to use to judge what you folks are seeing in the limited amount of footage that we're able to put up on the YouTube page from practice. They've got enough guys to where they're going to find 5 that are going to play at a better level than they did last season. I'm quite confident about that. I know it's not showing out right now on film that we're showing you guys, but there's a reason why, and I think that reason will be remedied here in the next 2.5 weeks.
And I think the O-line has played better lately. It's not a complete all-out jailbreak every time they're an 11-on-11. And I'll be honest with you, Wes, I think the run blocking from what we've seen now, look, they're in shoulder pads. They're not fully padded right now, so they're not being tackled to the ground, but they're hitting on some runs. I think the offensive line has done a pretty decent job in the run game. Now, again, take it for what it's worth because they're playing against different defensive lines. The pass pro is what I'm still rightly concerned with. But yeah, as Aslan said, it's really hard to know because of who has been out and who has been in. When they get that all congealed into one, I think there's a chance it can be an okay offensive line. Look, you're not going to be good doing cartwheels about this offensive line. It's not going to be Warwick Dunn side, holes that Warwick Dunn was running through. It's not going to be a great offensive line in 2021. If it's just average to if it's better, just a little bit better than it was last year, which it should be because all the guys have returned. If it's a little bit better than it was last year, that could be good enough to have a decent season. You are not winning a championship with this offensive line, and it is not a good offensive line, but it can be, dare I say, Aslan, serviceable.
Yeah, well said. Well said.
Okay, thank you.
All right, Wes, appreciate the phone call, man, and the questions.
Yeah, guys. Appreciate you taking the call. Y'all don't forget to hit that thumbs up. Subscribe to warchant.com. Also, if you haven't subscribed to the YouTube page, you're crazy. The content is off the charts. You guys are doing fantastic. Get on that. Y'all don't forget to drink your DeLuna coffee. Go Noles. Have a good evening, fellas.
Thank you. That's Wes, everybody. He's out there in the villages, man. We appreciate the phone call. Appreciate the promo. He's always cutting them top notch.
That was great, too. And he's not lying about the YouTube page.
No.
Been crushing it on that lately, ever since your strength and conditioning story, and then Jeff and Tom coming over, piggybacking off that. It's good stuff, man. It's a really good channel. You need to subscribe, folks. You just need to.
And hit that thumbs up button. Robert Garcia asks, anything on Andrew Parchment? It seems quiet with him.
Well, yeah, he's out there. Again, we have – just know he's out there, but maybe not participating like he will next week. I don't really know how to say it. We're not supposed to talk about personnel type stuff or maybe guys that have been slowed by something. So take that for what it's worth. I do think, trust me, he is in their plans. He's a guy that Norvell even mentioned yesterday or 2 days ago when he was talking about the receivers. He is in their plans. He is out there. He is on the practice field. But yes, I think his involvement will increase here in the next few days to a week.
There we go. Khalil's in the house.
I did all right with that, didn't I, Aslan? I think.
Absolutely, man. I mean, the guy didn't even throw any money. I shouldn't have popped it up on the screen, but I'm sure that's a question.
That. We'll take. Yeah.
Well, if you ask a good question that I think is relevant to the overall discussion of what's going on, you don't have to spend money. I'll pop it up, and I think a lot of people want to know how Andrew Parchment looks.
Yeah,
he's out there. He is participating. And yeah, I mean, there's a lot of guys though. So if and I'm not saying it won't work out, but if for some reason that were not to work out, I don't think that's a death knell for this offense. I think we always thought that, but what we're seeing from these other young guys, Malik McLean, what we're seeing from Keyshawn, the way he's coming on, Portier in the last few days, you feel okay that, again, they've got options if certain guys maybe don't live up to the expectations that we had going into this preseason.
Yeah, and if in June you had told me, and we are not saying this is happening because it's not, but if you had told me, hey, Parchment's not going to play this year, it's just a hypothetical, I promise. If you'd have told me, yeah, he's not going to do much, he's not going to be a big contributor, I'd be like, man, they have nothing. Now that I've seen this receiving core for a week and a half, again, it's not the Fab Four. These aren't all NFL guys, but Keyshawn's probably been the most consistent player on the entire offense. He's just making plays every day. And then guys like McLean and Portier and Pokey are guys I think you're starting to feel like you can count on a little bit. I do. I think you're starting to feel like you can count on those guys a little bit. They're not going to be incredible, but again, serviceable. And they might take huge steps in the next 3 or 4 months.
Yeah. And we're quietly seeing some more creativity out of the offense as well, too, which is bringing scheming guys open and they're making bigger plays. So again, which is to be expected as they keep going further into preseason camp. We saw probably a lot of base, simple concepts in week 1, but now that they're adding some more wrinkles, you're really getting a feel for what this offense can look like with some of these guys that they do have.
And tight ends. Don't forget tight ends. I think they're going to be a pretty big part of this offense, the passing offense. Cam McDonald's the guy that's probably the best pass catcher, the most gifted route runner of these guys. But Jordan Wilson is a big dude that's got some quickness off the line for his size. And then you look, man, Preston Daniel made the best catch on Wednesday. It was an incredible catch in the end zone. And he's like, Wyatt Rector's been back out there. He had like a 35-yard catch on a beautiful pass from Chuba. And then
Jackson West is in the mix. Marquise Douglas has got some soft hands.
And Jackson West, man, now he's a guy, I didn't ask Norvell about him, but I'm going to. I think he's one of those guys, just watching him practice. He's one of those dudes that you love when he's on your team. And if he's not on your team, you cannot stand him. He plays to the echo of the whistle. He does not take it easy, even though he's a true freshman. He will keep blocking until after the play is over. He will block you off the field. And he is not afraid of any veterans or anybody he just isn't. And I think he's a guy that can kind of get under your skin a little bit, which I think Florida State needs more of those dudes. Yeah. And he seems to have a little bit of nastiness to him, which is what this well, look, to an extent, what this program needs.
He's our Ron Artest is what you're saying. I like it.
Yes, sure. Right. All
right, so to Khalil's question, thanks for the
thank you, Khalil. Thank you very much, man.
Is Brian Robinson back yet? I think he has just as much potential as anybody in that wide receiver room. Retro question forthcoming, Corey Clark. Yeah, we saw Brian Robinson back out there this week. So he is
not doing a whole lot, though. Not doing a whole lot. Just putting that out there.
You don't have to specify, Corey. He only asked if he's back out there.
Well, he's back. He's back. He didn't ask if he's back out there. He asked if he's back. That's to be determined. But he is out. He is out at practice.
I want a shock collar, and I want Norvell to watch this, and I want to buzz and like, stop it, shut up.
Just to give us, we need a blueprint of how to do this, right? Because we're not lying to you. We're not going to lie to you guys, but we also have other things we have to think about. But yes, I think I answered that pretty well.
Yeah. All right, let's take a phone call then. Let's bounce back here. Is this our guy Jalen out in the 808? Who's this? Where are you calling us from?
This is Ralph from Hawaii.
It's Ralph.
How's it, guys?
Let's go, Ralph. What's up, man? Are you in Tallahassee? Yeah, you still on the Big Island?
No, well, I'm on Oahu. Caleb's on the Big Island. I see his messages from time to time. Nope. This time next week, I'll be sitting in a 7-hour layover in LA, making my trip back home for over 23 years, and I'll be in Tallahassee in a week.
I can't.
Nice, man.
I mean, I want to see like the reaction on Ralph's face when he's driving back through the town. 23 years you haven't been in Tallahassee. I mean, it's changed a little bit, Ralph. Yeah. It's changed a little bit.
July 4th of 98 is when I left. Went and spent about a week and a half down in Central Florida with a buddy of mine, and then I made my way out here. And I've never been back since. So,
well, let me tell you, Ralph.
I haven't seen my family, and I haven't seen my town, my people.
All right, man.
The Capitol still looks like the Capitol when you're driving up Appalachia. It's still the same thing that it's always looked like. But a lot of other things around Tallahassee have changed, man. And I feel like, Aslan, should we meet him at the airport?
We should be the welcoming party for Ralph, I feel like.
Man, that's exciting, man. Can't wait to see you.
Next Thursday at 9:39 a.m. I'll be landing in from Charlotte.
All right.
So anyways, I don't want to take up too much time because last time I called, Aslan hung up on me, so I'm not sure what that was all about.
I did no such thing, Ralph. And if I did, I apologize now. I apologize.
That's how he rolls.
I'm kidding. It was funny because while I was going through my story about the pitcher, I realized for 7 minutes I was talking to myself. So,
My bad.
So anyways, Aslan, I still haven't got an address from you, so I'm hand carrying yours and Ed's gift. I'll wrap it in the suitcase and I'll bring it in. So I'll link up with you when I get there, hopefully, and give you your housewarming gift that I made.
Oh, man,
my question for you guys is: we obviously we see a lot of the stuff on Warchant. You guys are killing it, as everyone else is saying. I'll echo that. I know that they're still deciding on who's going to start. I'm wondering, when do they start getting the scout team ready to try to mimic our opponent as much as they possibly can?
That's a good question. I'm trying to pull up the schedule. They're going to have a mock game not this Sunday, but either the following Saturday or Sunday. They're going to have a mock game. So I'm sure that'll have a lot of Notre Dame sort of flavor to it. I know, Corey, you said on the show yesterday, they're probably going to start game playing for Notre Dame. I don't know if they're quite at that point yet, but
no, I think what they have so they have their second scrimmage on Sunday, correct, Aslan?
Yes.
This Sunday, 4 days from now. So after that, I think honestly, I think that goes straight into Notre Dame week. You treat it as like a bye week. You have 2 weeks to prepare. It's an enormous game, clearly. It wouldn't make any sense to still do a lot of, preseason stuff with only 2 weeks left till Notre Dame. So I think that's when you start putting in packages specific to Notre Dame, having your scout team work on those looks. I think that probably happens that Monday. They probably have that Monday off. So that Monday off is when they start getting together their scout team looks for the scout team. And that Tuesday practice is when they start really going hard and heavy at Notre Dame. And that gives you, 12 days to get ready for Notre Dame.
Right.
But I don't think you would do it. They have not been doing that, and I do not think they will be doing that before the scrimmage, because you got to know at that point is when you kind of figure out, okay, these are our ones, these are our twos. We got to figure out, you got to have your starters. If you're going to have a scout team, that means you got to have your starters to play against that scout team. So I think that
Right,
Tuesday is when it starts.
And Notre Dame's already named their starter a few days ago, if not a week. So he theoretically is getting max practice. So he's got a week on us in theory.
Yeah.
So I was just wondering if that's ever been discussed, if Norvell's ever said anything, or like Corey, you're not saying you're speculating, but logically you're concluding. So anyways, I appreciate you guys actually taking a break there in June, because it allowed me to finish a book I started reading in January. So actually, I appreciated that break.
What's the name of the book?
Rested up.
What's the name of the book, Ralph?
Tale of Two Cities from Charles Dickens.
Okay. Oh, and a classic. I've heard of that one. Good one. All right.
That's all I read. That's all I read are the classics.
All right.
Okay.
Everything in the modern day is depressing, to be honest with you.
Sure.
Anyways, we'll see you guys next week. Aloha.
That's definitely. And by the way, on your way out, Ralph, just so you know, James B in Pensacola says, "Aloha, Ralph. How's it?" And Ed says, "Ralph, can't wait to meet you in Pensacola." Their comments are on the YouTube screen, so they speak for all of us, man.
Well, that's why I love everybody out there so much. You guys, all of you, are so awesome. So go Warchant, hoorah!
Dang right. That's Ralph, y'all. He'll be back in his hometown for the first time in 23 years on Thursday, man. Thank you for the phone call. That's Ralph. He's out there in Hawaii. We got one call, I think, here in the queue. They've been waiting around for a minute. Let's take them. This is their 25th phone call. I should recognize the number, know who it is, but I don't, Corey. I unfortunately do not. So can you identify who you are and where you're calling us from?
Yeah, it's Chris from Perry.
Oh, all right. It's a
Pitmaster.
Pitmaster. What's up, Chris?
No, not much. I didn't get quite the welcome from the Hawaii crowd, but I guess I'll take the little bit of excitement I got.
Right.
I'm just messing with you, Aslan. No, I was going to call and kind of give some insight because I played at a Division II school, so we got a lot of transfers, and so I can kind of attest to what the turnover does for a team. And
all right.
It's hard to. I would hate to be a Vegas bettor because you cannot predict Florida State's first game this year. Too much variables that have changed. So I would say anything that everybody's worried about, I would kind of be cautious about. It's not really anything you can look at and kind of evaluate.
Yeah. That's kind of the point I was making yesterday, Chris. That I understand Vegas has a job to do and they're going to set numbers and they're going to set lines, but I don't know if there's a team they know less about. Anybody, not that they don't do their homework or their due diligence. How could you know anything about this Florida State team? It is the biggest mystery. Georgia's going to be really good. Clemson's going to be really good. Kansas is going to be terrible. Florida State, like I said yesterday, is anywhere from like a 3 wins to 7 wins, 3 wins to 8 wins, somewhere in that window. And there aren't many teams that have like a gap of 5 wins. They could either be 8-4 or 3-9. I genuinely think that's what you're looking at with this team. I don't think they're gonna. I think they have a better chance of being 8-4 than 3-9. But who could know? So many of these guys have never played with each other and never played under Mike Norvell. So it's again fascinating, Aslan. That's what I'm coming back to. Fascinating season this is going to be.
Yeah, this might be the time to ask him that question. And we'll revisit at the end of the year. But I wonder if to Chris's point about transfers, turnover, getting used to knowing what you have, like, is Mike Norvell as this staff, or does it feel any different? Is this weird, or has it been pretty normal in terms of getting these guys acclimated and integrated to what they want to do? I mean, they've had enough practices now in the preseason to get a good feel for whether or not this is like a thing they can continue to do, or it's going to be one of these things where, hey, this is just, it's too much stress. It's too difficult to get all these new personalities meshed in. But it seems like Keir Thomas is coaching guys between reps. Jermaine Johnson's coaching guys up between reps. Dylan Gibbons is out there, like, dead laser focus on whatever Alex Atkins is talking about. So
Jamie Robinson too. Jamie Robinson's a pretty big personality in that secondary. He's another guy. These transfers aren't like shrinking Lily. What is that? Daisy, shrinking, right? Violets.
Right, there you go. Violet. Yeah.
They're Florida State Seminoles, man. They're not. They see, at least now it's middle of August. We'll see, but they seem genuinely invested in this season and their teammates, even though they've only known them for a few months.
Anything else?
I think that's what a team is supposed to do, and we just haven't gotten used to, or we've been used to the other side of the fence on that one.
Correct.
So maybe that's something, yeah. And, one of the things I think that makes the biggest difference with the big turnover on a roster, my voice there.
What, Peter Brady?
Roster is, I just stuck down some wire before you guys called, and I was talking along up.
Gotcha. Sure.
But it's more not the starters, but if you have 4, 5, 6 corners or whatever that can keep rotating and keep your guys fresh, that makes a way bigger difference than focusing on who your 2 starters are going to be at a position or something like that. It just
if
longer down the season.
Not only that, but you have quality depth for the fourth quarter. Like, if you can give your like if Asante Samuel was playing like 100 snaps a game last year, so were a couple of other guys. It's just not how you're supposed to play defense, man. In Mickey's day, and I know we're never getting back to the Dynasty, not anything like that anyway, but, Mickey would always play his backups in the first half and play him some in the third quarter. I remember specifically Derek Brooks, who was a freshman safety at the time, playing in the third quarter of the first wide right as a true freshman safety in the biggest game of the year, the game of the century. Mickey, in an important drive, Mickey's got his backup safety in there, getting him reps and getting his starters rest. And, man, so it's so valuable in practice to have depth because of the competition. But in the game where you can put in a corner or a safety or a DB or defensive lineman like Briggs, if Briggs ends up being something pretty good, man, it's such a luxury to have a guy like that coming off the bench that can not only be out there but can actually make plays while you give your starters rest. And that has not been the case around here in, I don't know, man, 5-6 years.
Yeah, I mean, I've been looking at that, and I don't understand what people have been worried about, because that's kind of been a high point for me, is worrying about who's going to start, because we have competition.
Yeah,
it's not
right.
You like rotate the guys in.
All right, Chris.
Well, anyway, I guess that's about it. I wish I could come down there, Notre Dame game, but that's opening weekend of Dove season, and got priorities. So.
We understand, buddy. We understand. Well, come down to Tallahassee at some point, buddy.
I will. Oh, absolutely.
Chris, thanks for the call, man. It's the Pitmaster in Perry, Georgia. You need good barbecue, hit him up. He's the Pitmaster. That's what he does. Thank you, Chris from Perry, Georgia. Let's get back to YouTube here. By the way, you guys are such good sports, man. I love you all. Robert Garcia says, way to call me out, Aslan. Happy birthday. Drops $20 in the jar. After we put his question on the screen, I'm like, you didn't pay us any money, which you don't have to.
Robert, you didn't have to do that. But it's nice. It's very nice that you did.
That wasn't my intention. If you guys, I'm popping some of the comments up here,
The one about Mackenzie Milton from like 6 minutes ago was, I know it was only on the screen for about 5 seconds, but I know I didn't laugh outwardly. But that's a good one, Joseph. Good work, buddy.
Yeah, it says, Joseph says, can't we pay Mackenzie Milton to tell us now? Yeah, probably could, man. Hey, man, your NIL, give me some information. How you feeling? Man? So, all right, let's keep it rolling here. I wonder if I don't think I've seen Khalil did. I mean, Khalil, you don't have to double dip, man. I mean, but thank you, man. Appreciate it. Corey, who do you think is the most underrated wide receiver from the Dynasty era? Atrus Bell, Lavernius Coles, Marvin Minnis, Ron Dugans. Very loaded room throughout that era, so I'm curious to know your answer.
Menace was almost like a unanimous All-American or a consensus All-American in 2000. But before that season, I would have thrown him in there. Like, he had some big plays, but he was always the number 2 or the number. I mean, it was always Peter Warrick and other people. But Marvin Menace was a really good college wide receiver. You could go back to the start of it with Ronald Lewis and Terry Anthony and those guys in the Fab Four. I'm trying to think of those are all good. Yeah, Andre Cooper's a good one too. He kind of gets lost a little bit because he didn't have a career. E.G. Green, you know what? And again, because in the time they were big deals. But if I'm looking back on the Dynasty right now, in a person that had a career, a 4-year career that probably doesn't get the credit they deserve because it just gets lost in all the other greatness, I think I'd go with E.G. Green. Okay. That dude was great in 95. I think he had 1,000 yards, and then he was incredible in 97 again. He was good in 96. It's just Thad Busby was a first-year starter, and they didn't throw the ball a ton. I think I'd go with E.G. Green is my guy that's probably the most underrated from that era. And I'll tell you another guy that really gets lost, and he didn't play in the Dynasty, and I don't know why he played wide receiver a little bit at Florida State and running back, but he didn't play in the Dynasty. But underrated to me will always be Willie Reed. That guy, he was around your time, wasn't he, Aslan?
Oh, yeah.
That dude was a great punt returner and a difference maker. Yeah, so look at E.G. He had 2,000-yard seasons. He had 29 career touchdowns. He had 10 in one year and 11 in the other. Made that unbelievable catch against North Carolina in one of those game-of-the-century type deals. Just in solid. Like, you don't remember him dropping anything ever. Just a great – and Deckeroff would always call him Ernie Green. And that was the thing. So he was nicknamed E.G. Green because his initials were Ernie. His name's Ernie Green. So then his initials – so on his jersey it said E.G. Green. Well, the G stands for Green. So are they saying he's Ernie Green? Like, I get it. His nickname's E.G. because those were his initials, but maybe middle name is G. Maybe it's like George. Okay, I see it right there. It's Ernest G. Green III. So maybe he wasn't named E.G. Green because of the E for Ernie Green. But anyway, Deckeroff used to always call him Ernie Green and not E.G., which I thought was pretty boss. But that's my guy.
I didn't realize his cousin was Christian Green.
Yeah. E.G. had a better career. No shot at you, Christian. But Christian got a national championship ring.
He did.
And E.G. because of flipping Texas in 96 did not get one. No, I'm sorry, Nebraska. I blame Nebraska for that, not Texas.
Thank you, Khalil. We appreciate you, man. Let's go to D. Hobbs dropping some dollars.
Dollar bills, y'all.
D. Hobbs, what's up?
40 bones. Thank you for that.
Thank you, man. Thank you very much.
I know there has been some issues with ball control at center. How would you know? I haven't posted that stuff. Who's telling you these things? Do y'all see this being an issue during the season, or is this something we can get control of before September 5th? Thanks, guys. Go Noles. It's a concern. I'm concerned, Corey. I'm concerned about getting the ball to our quarterback, whoever it's going to be. That's
why you need an athlete back there, because you don't know where the ball is going. You got to have quick reflexes. You have no idea. You got to take like jiu-jitsu or something to have the dexterity to catch all those balls. And I think what's so bizarre about it is it's not just ground balls. It's not just sky balls over your head. It's both, and it's to the left and it's to the right. There have been some issues. You would think that will get under control because it's not like the coaches aren't noticing it. They're not real happy when they've called a play and they've got a finite amount of time to get these plays in before the practice is over, and they're wasting 15 seconds in a rep because the ball is killing worms because it doesn't even get 4 inches off the ground. So yeah, that has been an issue. I would think they will be working long and hard at that in the next 2 weeks to make sure that is not an issue on Monday or that Sunday night. But man, it's got to get better. If it doesn't, they're gonna have to be under center the whole time because it has not been. It's not been great. Let's just say that it's not been great. The snaps and the shotgun.
Yeah, they've got a converted tight end out there playing some center too, and even it's like contagious. Austin Cox, our writer, I was pointing it out. It's like it's contagious, man. Like it's not just one person that's having trouble snapping the ball. It's like pretty much anybody they've put under center has been spraying it everywhere. So it is a little bit concerning. The crazy thing is once practice is over and they're walking off the field and we'll get some of the players and the coaches for interviews, Alex Atkins, the offensive line, continue to do work. Yep. And I think we actually get Atkins later on this week. I don't think we get him tomorrow. We might get him on Friday, but we'll definitely bring that up to him. I mean, listen, receivers stay in front of the jugs machine or they get somebody to spit the ball out to them for several minutes after practice if they're struggling. Man, some of these guys probably shouldn't get off the field for 15 to 20 minutes after practice. They should practice snapping the ball because it's a concern. But, again, we're 18 days away. They've been doing this their whole life. Could just be a bad spell. Could just be a little bad.
Yeah, and it's like, maybe in a little bit of a rut. You hope they don't have the yips. I don't even think you're supposed to say that word out loud. But also, I kind of think of it as like free throw shooting. Like after a practice at Florida State, those dudes are all for 20 minutes or 10 minutes, or they're getting their free throws in. And it's in an empty gym. It's not the same as game pressure and everything else, but they're getting their work in at something like free throws. Well, for a center, the main thing is to be able to block and to push people around and to protect your quarterback. The second most important thing, when really is probably the most important, is make sure the quarterback gets the ball hiked to him. It doesn't have to fall on the ground to keep it from being a turnover. So, that's something you really need to work on, and it's something you can work on. It's just repetition. That's all that is.
How about Fatal Jedi? By the way, a shout out again. Thank you for the comment, for the question, D Hobbs.
Yeah, thank you very much, D.
I don't know if that's the first time they've done it, but thank you nonetheless. We do appreciate it. Fatal Jedi says, Aslan Corey, I'm willing to put a friendly bet on the Notre Dame game. $10. The Noles will keep it within 5 points or win by at least 4. And then he throws a little super sticker. Go Noles.
Okay, nice.
Alabama. $10 that it's and that's like a 10-point spread he's giving us right there. So they're either going to win by 4 or keep it within 5. Man,
well, I don't want to. I'll be honest with you, man.
I'd love that to happen.
Yeah, I don't want to do that. I appreciate the offer. I don't want to do that. I don't want to be the host of a Florida State call-in show working in a place called Warchant that then bets against Florida State publicly. So I can't do that. I appreciate the offer, but no, I can't take you up on that. And I hope you're right, man. Let me put it that way. I hope you're right.
Khalil agrees with your synopsis. Corey says Green was good.
Rob was very good.
Baker, dude was super fast and had good hands.
Played with the Falcons, too, for a little bit. Had a really famous catch in 91 against Syracuse when after a big rainstorm, he caught it in the end zone and, he caught it right at the goal line and slid almost into the back fence because it was so wet. It's a really cool play.
All right. You can't dodge it, Corey. It's Eric, and he's throwing money at us.
Eric, come on, man.
Get your prediction for us this season. I mentioned on Jeff Cameron's show the other day, 7-5, but realistically, 8-4. 6-6 disappointing as a diehard Noles fan. So,
yeah, man. Look, everything's been disappointing the last 4 years, right? 6-6, depending on what both sixes look like. Of course, it won't be something you do cartwheels over, but it could be disappointing with a little bit of encouragement splashed in because the schedule is tough. It's not the easiest one they've had. It's not like the 2012 schedule. So it's going to be tough for this particular team to get to 8 wins. It just is. Not saying it can't be done, but it just will be difficult. But if they can get to 6-6 and maybe pull an upset, maybe beat an in-state rival, I think you could go into 2022 upbeat, especially if some of these young guys play as well as maybe we think they are now that they're coming on here in this first week and a half of preseason practice. But yeah, of course it would be disappointing. Nobody at Warchant, I hope, will tell you to be excited or be content with 6-6. We didn't build any of this for 6-6. I get it. That's a bummer. I'm not here. I'm not doing this job to watch a 6-6 football team. You're not a passionate fan of a 6-6 football team. That's not what we sign up for. But if it's on the way, if it's a 6-6 on the way to a 9-win season, you can live with those lumps more than another 4-8 or just a 6-6 season where you win 6 games and get blown out 6 times.
Oh, man. Yeah. Jack State win. I'll say Louisville win. Syracuse win. UMass win. That's 4. NC State win 5. Man, so that means like you need Notre Dame, Wake, Florida, Miami, Boston College. You got to get one of those to get to 6 games. That's
the NC State's not a gimme. None of those are gimmies, man. Remember, it's a team that won 3 games last year. So other than we assume UMass definitely and Jack State, there aren't any real gimmies on this schedule at all. Last year we'd have thought Georgia Tech was a gimme. It didn't turn out to be. So I do think they'll be better than they were last year, but we shall see. That's the beauty of sports. You got to let it play out.
I'll say 6-6, Eric. I mean, it's hard to find 7, man. Again, I'm probably showing way too much respect to Boston College. I think that's treacherous right there. Like Clemson, NC State, Miami, Boston College, Florida. That's not. I mean, it's a dynasty running on all cylinders. Florida State team. You're not scared about that at all. But what this team has been the last few years, and what those teams have been the last few years, doesn't line up well. But hey, they're going to play it out regardless because that's what they do.
Amen.
Thank you, Eric. Appreciate the tips and the questions very much. Let's keep it rolling here. We got Octavio Cedeno. Happy birthday. Thank you. Thank you, Octavio. I do appreciate it. Give you a little bit of this.
Great cash, homie.
A little bit of that. Octavio says, as I get back to the screen, I was wondering for maybe Wake Up, if you guys could summarize each upcoming game as if they had already taken place, but with the outcome always being us winning. Give us an idea of what it would take for us to pull it off. You want to talk about Notre Dame game being a win? What's the Monday Notre Dame podcast after Florida State upsets Notre Dame, Corey? What are we talking about?
A couple turnovers, a couple strip sacks, I think, or a couple of turnovers forced by a pass rush, maybe an errant throw in a big moment, a strip sack by our man Jermaine Johnson, maybe DBJ, Dennis Briggs. I think you're going to have to force at least 3 or 4 turnovers, timely ones at that. I guess all turnovers are timely. And then I think you would say something like they could not stop Jordan Travis on 3rd down. Anything 3rd and 5 or 3rd and 4 or 3rd and 5 or less, they could not stop Jordan Travis. And that's why they won the game. That to me is maybe a blueprint of how you win that game. But who knows, man? Maybe Mackenzie Milton throws for 4 bills and 5 scores and starts his Heisman campaign. We don't know. Oh, man, his NIL would go through the roof if he throws for 405 touchdowns.
Whatever it's called. Yeah, man. Buy stock in that.
We could always just do what we did. We could always do what we did in 17. I think it was 17, and just start recounting the games from 2013. And acted like we had just watched those, like talk about the Wake game, 59-3, and all that stuff.
Idaho game hanging 80 on. We hang 80 on Idaho or 70.
I think it was 80, like 82, 81 or 82. They had that pick 6 at the end to put them over 80.
Oh man, it's a North Carolina formula for lack of a better, I guess, explanation or answer, Octavio. Right? Like to your point, Corey, strip sack. Just Jermaine Johnson coming off the edge, hands up, balls tipped up, and maybe Kalen DeLoach comes screaming down like a bat out of hell, or Jamie Robinson, and you get your pick 6, and then the offense just starts clicking and moving fast, and you get no answer. You're on your heels. I think that's the recipe. I don't think they'll slog. Like if Florida State wins, it's not going to be 20-17. I wouldn't think. I
just don't trust them to. I think Notre Dame will put up some points. I don't think the defense has made that big a jump to keep them under 25-ish, 28. I think you're gonna have to score at least in the 30s to win. Again, your quarterback play is going to be better. Your receiver play is going to be better. Maybe not from what it was against Notre Dame last year because that was the one game Terry played well. But just everything around the offense, you didn't lose anybody. Anybody that was important, you didn't really lose anybody. So you've got to think that it's going to be that the offense it has to be better. And then if they can, and they played pretty well against Notre Dame. They scored 26 and they got stopped at the 1 late in the game. I mean, they put up some yardage on that team and put up 4 touchdowns and almost had a 5th. So it's not like they should be afraid of Notre Dame's defense. They can score on them. You're just going to have to you're going to have to get in the 30s to win that game, I think.
Yeah, we keep forgetting they Put 26 points on the Irish.
Yeah, what was Travis's numbers? Yeah, 13 to 24, 204. He also ran. I mean, he had 300 yards of total offense.
Yeah.
The problem is the guy to the right of Jordan Travis on that graphic. 19 carries for 185 yards. You can't be allowing 10 yards a clip, kids. You just can't do it. You got to do a little better than that, fellas.
Yeah, I mean, 8.4 as a team.
Yeah, they had 200-yard rushers. They averaged 8.4 as a team.
Yeah.
Ian Book had 60 yards rushing.
Jeez.
Yeah. Well, look. Hey, come on now. It's all right. It's all right. That's last year. Last year.
That was last year. All right. Any other observations you want to share with the class before we wind and sign things off here? We're gonna be back at practice, right, Corey? I'll be out there.
You'll be out there. I'll be up here in the beautiful Peach State. You're gonna keep everybody updated. Get that video up, the live video, not live video, but the video of the practice that we're allowed to film. And yeah, we'll be out there. I know somebody was asking on the chat. Yeah, we're out there every day until I think Sunday, right? Because the scrimmage will be closed.
Yeah.
And I want to say again, we need to reiterate this because it is a little, it's just odd. It's odd to be covering practices where you can't maybe give injury information because we know you're interested in that. But I want you to know that the positives so far outweigh the negatives. We can give you real opinions with like facts behind them. We are seeing practice. And I saw, I know it's Georgia, and you would trade places probably right now in a heartbeat with a Georgia fan getting up for this year, where your teams are, right now. But, Kirby Smart isn't going to speak to the media again until after Saturday scrimmage, and everything is closed. So those fans, as much as they love it, they don't get any information about their team. It is really cool. And it's not self-serving because I think it's great for you guys. We're allowed to film some practice. We're allowed to watch practice. We're allowed to comment on practice. And we can tell you when somebody's playing well and making strides and flying up the depth chart. And that's Norvell and one other coach in Power 5 are the only ones that do it. The only ones that do it. And so we're thankful, and I hope you guys are thankful too because it's been awesome. This has been unlike anything I've ever really gotten to do because, since I've been doing this, practices have been closed. This is really neat to watch.
Yeah. By the way, thank you, Dave. Your marketing idea that you emailed, well-intentioned, but it would probably get me canceled. But thank you nonetheless. So we thank everybody who called in. Chris, we thank, Gator Kirk, all of our guys. Thank you to Dave. Thank you to Octavio, Fatal Jedi, Eric, Khalil, D. Hobbs, Robert Garcia, James B., Ed in the Wind. Thank you all so much. We'll be back next week doing this live, but we'll have another show tomorrow. But in the meantime, Jeff Cameron Show, 1 to 3 p.m. live here on Warchant TV, as well as 93.3 Radio in Tallahassee. For Corey, I'm Aslan. Thanks so much for watching. Have a great one, everybody. You've been watching Wake Up Warchant, fueled by DeLuna Coffee.